now January, so it's been almost a year since I've posted my last video. So a lot has changed since then, and I don't even know how to speak to the camera anymore. It's been so long. I wanted to talk a little bit about how my priorities have changed since my college days, and kind of go into what I care about, what I don't care about anymore, and we can just jump right in. Little bit of background. I am now 22 years old, 22 and a half, so I'll be turning 23 this year. Ugh. So number one on my list of things that I care about is eye health. The first thing that I do to kind of mitigate that is blue light blocking glasses. So I wear these. These have a little bit of prescription in them for reading. So if I like put them out here, you can see my eyes get bigger. But so these are my blue light blocking reading glasses that I use for when I'm working and looking at my laptop. Instead of using like cheap sunglasses that just have cute designs, I kind of invest more money into buying sunglasses that are polarized, lightweight. I'm very picky when it comes to sunglasses. So my favorite pair is the Salt sunglasses. These are polarized and super lightweight. I believe they're Japanese. So these are my favorite pair to wear these days. They're kind of mirrored, so you can see my whole setup. Hello. And in line with that, I try to be more mindful about the amount of time that I'm spending on my phone, especially when it's like in bed and nearby. So I try to do less of that at night so that my eyes don't age quicker. Yeah, eye health, important. Number three is health and fitness. And when I was younger, I was more focused on losing weight and looking a certain way. But as I'm getting older, I'm investing more time into my overall fitness and kind of like my muscle mass versus fat mass. So even if I'm really skinny, I don't want to be all bone and fat. I want to be fit to a point where, you know, I can do a lot of active activities, sports, basically. Definitely developing my endurance has been a big challenge and goal for me in this upcoming year as well as last year. Kind of invest more time into doing more at-home workouts and maybe just being more active in general, trying to spend less time on the phone and just incorporating movement into my daily life so that I'm not just sitting at my desk job for 8 hours straight. Catch my drift? Number four is quality over quantity. So the first thing I want to mention is long-lasting clothes. Instead of buying 5 pieces of clothing that I know will only last me a year, I try to buy clothes that are higher quality, so like 100% cashmere or something that is more well made in general, so that I know I will be able to wear it for years. And with that comes investing in pieces that are not trendy and more like classic pieces, so like a cashmere cardigan or like a very earth tone sweater, because I know it's not going to go out of style. Moving on, number 5 is skincare. I know it might not look like it, but it took me a lot of courage to just show my bare face on camera like this today, because I do want to impress you guys. You know, I do want to impress the internet with how I look. I want to look like other people who look flawless on the internet. As I'm getting older, I do notice changes in my skin. I don't get as much hormonal acne as I used to as a teenager, but I do get acne and breakouts from sensitivity to products. And that's something that I didn't know I had, but now I do. So the number one product that I'm like really sensitive to is sunscreen. I'm very careful about like selecting my sunscreen to be like something that's very natural and gentle on the skin. So I'm still in the hunt for really good sunscreen, but I do have a couple that I like using. Sunscreen is very important. Wear it every day. Number 6 is photos and journaling. So I was looking back at my diary from 2018 and 19 and just reading through what I was thinking about at that time, and reading through journal entries really helped me understand how far I've come. So that's something that I've kind of prioritized as I get older, is making sure to just write down whatever I'm thinking on that given day, so that it helps me reflect on those entries maybe like a year or two in the future, and just think about how I've changed as a person and maybe how my priorities have changed then. So that's been very helpful. I take taking photos for granted because of the boom of, iPhones and like phone cameras. So I'm used to taking photos of literally anything. But these days I've been keeping photos, like Polaroid photos of the most important events during a given day. You want to come into my video? So you haven't made an appearance in my video in years.
What video?
This is a YouTube video.
Why are you making a YouTube video?
I just felt like it.
Did you show the dogs?
I did not show the dogs. You want to show the dogs? Here he is. This is Yuri. Joe, as I like to call her. We got another dog in 2019. This is Louie. He is a sweetheart. He has a heart on his forehead. He's a Chihuahua Terrier just like BB, but they do look slightly different. BB's a bit more sly and cat-like, and Louie's definitely like a dog. So polar opposites, but I love them both. So as I was mentioning, photos and journaling. Photos, specifically Polaroids, because they are expensive to take. So I do have a Polaroid camera as well as the Instax mini link printer. So that helps when I don't have access to my camera and I took a photo that I really want to print. But most of the times I like to carry the Polaroid camera and take pictures of something that I really find meaningful during that day, and it does really help. I'm just embracing my natural self. I try to improve things from within, like my hair health in general, instead of just how my hair looks curled, if that makes sense. Okay, Louie, I'll let you go. Bye, Bab. If I were to summarize my priorities for myself in the present and going into the future, it would be the more I strive for perfection, the more unhappy with myself I will be. So I don't strive for perfection. I just try to become the best version of myself that I can be and try to make each day good. So the moral of the story is I'm into things that are saving my time and money. So cost efficient, time saving, multifunctionality, that's like yes. And things that are like trendy, outwardly appearances, unnecessary but aesthetically pleasing things, no. So those are the things I'll be paying more attention to as I move along in my 20s. Something that I am looking forward to getting into is investing, because I haven't really learned a lot about it, but I'm teaching myself right now to kind of get into that realm. I know it's hard and very finicky, but it's something I'm looking to do. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I missed YouTube, and I will see you guys in my next video whenever I feel like uploading again. That could be next week, that could be next year. I don't know. So, all right, see you guys later. Bye. Well, wow. A lot of things have changed. The clip that you just saw is from January 5th, so earlier this year, and then today I'm filming this on Christmas Day. So it's been almost a year since I filmed that other clip, and there is so much to reflect on and so much to look back and celebrate. I didn't think that it was worth uploading at the time, and now I think it's worth uploading because I have the reflection to do at the end of the year. So let's get right into it. The number one thing that I talked about in January was eye health, and it still holds. I still have the same pair of blue light blocking glasses that I wear for work, and when I do go outside, I try to wear sunglasses. I haven't found that it's as necessary right now because it's winter time and it does get dark pretty early, so I don't go outside a ton. I heard after like 27 it's all downhill, so we'll see about that, but I'm trying my best. In the clip from earlier this year, I also talked about quality versus quantity, and that also still holds very true. I only like to buy products that I know I'm going to use in the long run. So even if the items that I want are on the pricier end, so for example, this jacket that I really wanted, I think it was like $120, but when I looked at it, it was cruelty-free, vegan, some sort of artificial filling that's not duck, and it's waterproof. It has an inside pocket, major plus, has a hood, and it is a very neutral color. And so even though it is on the pricier end, I decided to invest my money in it because I know I'm gonna be very cold in the winter, and it's one of those staple pieces that I can wear for a long time. I think I also talked about investment and how I wanted to get into investing, and I did get into investing this year. I played around a little bit with individual stocks, realized that that wasn't really for me, so I started investing in index funds. And that is a lot more suitable to my kind of risk averseness. So index funds, I also started investing into my 401k, my Roth IRA, which I've been doing since last year. And then also my company has an ESPP. So I started investing in that as well. Anyways, just overall trying to become more financially smart because I realized that I am very financially incapable last year. Like I didn't really take care of my finances in college. Yeah, investing, I'm doing it now. I'm going to continue to do it next year. Money is good, you know, as much as I always knew and told myself that I'm not very money hungry or money focused. I definitely recognize the impact that money has on people's lives and why it is so important to have a good amount of money to sustain your lifestyle. So that's why I have a corporate job. You know, would I be here if money wasn't an issue? Probably not. Oh, and the other thing I talked about was Polaroids and how I liked taking Polaroid photos. So I was just kind of getting into it when I talked about it in January, but I filled up a whole album of Polaroid photos throughout the year, and now I can look back at it and have like concrete physical photos to look at in the future. So I'm really happy about that. But anyways, love this. I'm probably going to bring this to New York, which is a great segue into I'm moving to New York. I'm pretty sure everyone watching this is gonna already know that I'm moving to New York. Now I recognize the importance of being around people and the importance of meeting a lot of people. So I'm moving to New York for a bit. I don't know for how long, at least a year or a year and a half, maybe longer if I do decide that I like the city, but we'll see. It's a big next step in my life and I'm kind of excited to see where it goes. With that being said, I had a lot of New Year's resolutions that I wrote down at the beginning of the year, and I'm really happy to say that I did hit a lot of them. Some of them were like all throughout the year kinds of things. So like being more active and reducing my carb intake, which is still ongoing. So I'll have to check that off at the end of the year, like next week. I'm not gonna read these out loud, but there was one that I kind of wanted to talk about to see if, I don't know, if anyone else agrees. But one of my New Year's resolutions was I will stop letting my own insecurities about my looks hold me back from enjoying life. And this wasn't just about like looks as in physical appearance. It was also about how I look to other people doing certain tasks. So for example, trying out a sport and not being good at it, or trying an instrument and failing. And I used to be so scared of not being perfect. And this year I really consciously had to try to be okay with not being perfect and being just a better version of myself afterwards and just enjoying the moment. So enjoying the moment was a big thing for me this year, because I used to be such a huge planner for everything that even if I executed everything according to plan, the sense of satisfaction that I got from that versus spontaneously deciding that I'm gonna go play tennis, failing miserably, you know, falling a couple times, tripping on a ball. After that experience, I felt a much more deep sense of fulfillment than I did when I just planned out, I'm gonna play golf today because that's the sport that I play and that's a sport that I know how to play. And I'm going to try to pull that energy into next year as well. So now what? Priorities for 2022, or just really priorities at the moment that I think will kind of trend into next year. Boundaries with people, boundaries with work, just boundaries in general, because I am such a people pleaser. I find genuine happiness in making other people happy, but that can be very draining, especially if you're more introverted and sensitive like me. So that can be very draining. So drawing clear boundaries between me and people, knowing when to say, hey, I'm actually not down to do that, whether it's my manager asking me to work overtime,
even though I really shouldn't be. Or if it's a friend asking to hang out, then I'm learning to say, maybe not today, but I do want to hang out with you next week or something like that. The second thing is career development, not necessarily in the sense that like I want to make more money. It's more in the sense that I want to become more valuable to other people, because that'll bring me more opportunities in the future and more fulfillment for me. So that's something that I'm working towards. I have a lot of things in plan for next year, so just career development overall and just getting myself out there. Oh, accepting myself and accepting the importance of socialization. I used to think that I could just, like be by myself and take care of everything by myself, but then more and more into this year, I realized that's not the case. Humans need socialization. If anything, meeting a lot of people this year, whether that be friends, colleagues, romantic interests, I don't know, like just a lot of people this year, it made me realize that I do see the value of social interaction and talking to people, because you can learn so much about them, you can learn so much about their passions and what drives them. And I realized how much I miss that, because I'm very sensitive to my environment, so I get influenced by people easily. So if I surround myself with a lot of driven people, then I become more driven in that sense. So I've learned to kind of strategically manipulate myself so that I become a better person. Just one of the ways that I figured out how to deal with me being me, basically. Self-image / outward image, the way that I view myself versus how other people view my actions. Something might make total sense to me versus someone else might think that it's completely outrageous. This happens very often between me and my sister. So understanding why they interpret my actions that way and my words that way, and making sure that I'm communicating in a direct and clear and concise way so that they understand my intentions the way that I want it to be portrayed. The next two things are kind of within the same realm, but reading and music / instruments. So now I recognize the importance of reading. I like reading a lot, and I like reading paper books more than I like Kindles. And even though I like reading paper books, this takes a lot of time and a lot of strain on my eyes. So more recently, I've been listening to Audible books. I just have a subscription, and I think it's worth the investment to put into if you're going to read consistently. And some of the books that I really want to recommend are The Art of Thinking Clearly. This has a lot of psychological biases, and you can read about them here just to be more aware of the things that we go through in daily life. And then next, Principles by Ray Dalio. I think this is also great to get a better sense of career development and what you should be looking for in work in general. This book I read in college, but I read it again this year, 50 Scientific Ways to Be Persuasive, basically. And this helps a lot because I work in management. With management, you're working with a lot of people, and sometimes you have to be persuasive to get your point across. So this helps a lot. Also, music and instruments. I realized that I cannot live without music. Not just like Spotify, Apple Music kind of thing, but like physically playing music. It's a great way for me to release emotions in a healthy way. What else is there? Art, music, and writing. Oh, writing is also a big way for me to get my emotions out. So hence why I keep a journal. If something like tragic happens that day, I'll write about it. And instead of like complaining to somebody else about it, I prefer to just write down everything so that I can go back and read through it instead of something that is spoken, because once it's out there and you can forget about it. But if it's in writing, you don't forget. And no one reads your diary. Accepting fear and embracing it. That kind of goes hand in hand with accepting myself and the importance of socialization. Things that you've been hesitant to try before, maybe because you don't even recognize that it's a fear within you. Accepting your fear, recognizing it, embracing it, and then figuring out a plan to kind of conquer it. It's a work in progress always, but I think it's worth your time and effort to try to conquer your fears, because you'll become a better person at the end of the day. Who am I trying to teach? I'm so red. I look almost drunk at this point because it's so hot up here. And then lastly, understanding people. This is more for like my personal interests and for work, but I love understanding people. I studied psychology because I wanted to understand like what motivates people to behave in certain ways and like what kind of thought processes lead people to make certain decisions. And that has been like the biggest driver for me like since childhood, is like, why do they think like that? Why do they think differently than me? And why do they behave differently than me? Like the question of like, why are humans the way they are? Like that's always been like my curiosity. This is like kind of controversial, but I've been asking people about their MBTI types a lot because I'm not gonna like sit there and be like, oh, you're an ISTP. Okay, so you have to be exactly like this. It's more like if I understand your type, then I can sort of digest the way that you think and the way that you act in a more consumable way. So the information gets translated to me a bit more readily and I can accept your way of thinking better. So I've been asking people about their MBTI types and it helps me understand you and it helps me feel more comfortable presenting you information because I know what kind of logical thinking goes in your head. It's more that I can communicate more effectively in a way that's like smoother if I just know. So anyways, that's what I've been doing. Understanding people also comes in very handy for work. If I understand why people are motivated to do work or why people are motivated to come into work every day, then I can inspire people to be driven and to believe in the purpose of the company or the work that we're doing. Instead of pushing them and forcing them to do something and nagging, it's more like understanding, okay, so your performance has been falling a little bit. Let's look at why. You know, can I talk to you about something? You know, I want to understand what's going on so that I can better help you reach your full human potential. Okay, that was a little too far. Like not full human potential, but at least like full work potential. If I understand people better, then I think overall it will help me achieve my idealized dream of a harmonized society where everyone is happy and willing to collaborate with each other and there's like harmony and peace. Is it very idealized? Yes, but I do want that for everyone. I just want everyone to be happy and healthy and not upset about things like miscommunication. So that's where I am in life at this ripe old age of 23. Next year I'm gonna be 24 and maybe my priorities will change. I don't know. Yeah, that's a summary of my year this year. I did a lot of stupid things as well. I'm not productive all the time. I lay in bed and roll around sometimes too. Like I'm not a perfect human at all, but I'm trying. I'm trying my best to become a better version of myself every year. So we'll see if that continues into next year. We'll see if I even upload this video because I definitely didn't upload the last one. Who knows? It comes down to time. I don't know how to wrap up a video anymore. I'm just gonna resort to my familiar outro. Please subscribe, like, and comment, and leave me any video suggestions below, and I'll see you guys later. Bye! I'm dead. Okay, bye.